nerds. Just sitting around talking about stuff. The Burg nerds. This is the Burg nerds. Just sitting around talking about shit.
Hello, friends and fellow nerds. Welcome back to another jam-packed episode of the Burg Nerds, the only podcast that actually welcomes the return of 50 Tyson.
What?
What?
Because he's 16 next
year.
Remix. Next year, he'll be...
What? So what do we know about this gentleman? We know that his brother is Tony Jr.
Yep.
And that he was, in fact, born to be a ball player, and he ain't gonna lie.
That's right. And here's the thing, though. You can't see it, but... You know, he's a football player, but say you're a football player, but act like you're dribbling a basketball. It's amazing. This guy, God, I hope his album comes out soon.
He's blowing up.
Did you listen? It's coming out real soon.
Album already out.
Yeah.
It's coming out real soon.
Because he's 50 Tyson. And just remember, he's from Minnesota.
Yes. Twin City, Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's where he's from.
Twin City.
And at one point, he didn't even say Minnesota. He's like, I'm from Mississippi.
I can't wait to hear Tony Jr.'s album.
Tony Jr. He's like, I'm Tony Jr. I'm a lacrosse player.
All right. we are the Burg Nerds, and I'm Jeremy.
I'm Jordan.
I'm 50 Tyson. What?
What?
Eddie.
Big Joe.
Lee.
All right, guys. What are we working on this week? How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good week? What's going on?
That's pretty boring.
Yeah, you didn't. Nothing really happened.
No.
Let me tell you what happened to me last weekend. Last weekend, I got swore at by some toothless
Here we go.
hillbilly piece of shit on the road who pulled out in front of me.
Well, you know what? Maybe
not even just pulled out in front of you. He pulled out and then stopped in the middle of the road where there was actually nowhere for him to stop. He blocked traffic.
Yeah.
I was going to ask,
inbound.
are we still talking about traffic or pulling out in another way?
And he called me, and I'm pulling a direct quote here. He called me, and I quote, a pussy bitch.
You need to have a T-shirt with that on.
This pussy bitch.
That way he can recognize you.
And he pointed at you with the cigarette in between his fingers. He went,
pussy bitch.
Well, maybe he should have. It was 50. That was Tony Jr.
I'm white.
I think that was Tony Jr. He was supporting his brother's album that's going to come out real soon.
See, he remembered you because you didn't buy an album last week.
Well, I knew it was Tony Jr. when he said, I ain't going to lie. You're a pussy bitch. and you know, I was driving in Twin Cities, Minnesota. So.
Wow, they really made you go far.
Apparently, they don't have suicide lanes for these motherfuckers to pull out in front of in Twin Cities.
You're already there. You get the staples awful quick there.
Yeah, fuck that guy. If you're out there and you're listening to this by some fucking chance, I would love to fist fight you in the street. Fucking heck. Anyway, man.
Lee, how was your week?
Mine was great. We got some real good diagnosis on my son. We've got him taken care of.
Oh, that's good.
That is
he
awesome,
seems
man.
to be responding well.
Yes, definitely.
Work is work, and here I am, and I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we're done
I hated
with work.
missing.
Fuck work, we're here to play.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right. This episode, we've been throwing around some ideas all week. We do this.
Well, how was your week, Joey?
Joey. Oh, we forget about Joey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm jumping right into it.
It's like fuck the guys across the table.
We have time.
I just got very excited about this episode because we're really just flying by the seat of our pants for this episode. Just kind of giving something new a try. But by all means, Joey, my sincerest of apologies, buddy. What's going on in your life? What's up with Monster Joe?
Bitches, I went to work.
What? So you right.
Making that money.
Straight making that money. All right.
What?
Nothing exciting. About the same old. Waiting for my friend Mo, who was interviewed, or basically was on the line last week with us.
Yeah, he was on last week's episode. He's coming bearing gifts, this son of a bitch. He's such a wonderful person.
He
man.
always bears gifts.
Yep.
He does,
So-
man. He comes down and just slings presents to fucking everybody. He's like a big, awkward Santa Claus.
Jolly old Saint Mo.
He comes from Twin Cities, Minnesota. He really does.
Yeah,
It's
he
so
does.
fucked up.
I hope he's got 50 Tyson in the back of his truck.
If he brings me 50 Tyson, I will French kiss him on the mouth. But yeah, he's actually going to be on next week's episode with us, right? He's
Yep.
gonna-
I hope so, yeah.
So we're recording one this weekend. I think we're going to drop another episode sometime through the week or whatever. We're going to be dropping episodes, not to be confused with 50 Tyson's album that's going to be dropping real soon. What about you, Ed? What you got going on, buddy?
It's been a very busy week at work. But
Yeah, it's a big weekend, right? You got a big work week or whatever?
yeah, I mean, I've been putting in a lot of hours, but it's actually been really good, and I'm been loaded up on caffeine. I'm in great spirits. I'm just so glad to be here tonight because I was really afraid I wouldn't be, but no, it's been good. And God, I'm just glad to see
The
you
good
guys
thing
again.
is, man, is that you're not afraid to ask everybody to put everything on hold and record this episode 2 hours later so you could get here.
I didn't ask. I just told you. I was like, you know what? I might actually get out kind of early, and you're like, oh, just let me know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do an episode with one of us missing, man. I really hate it. So anytime we can push it back just a little bit because one of the guys is off doing whatever the fuck they're doing. We can-
I was
we can
actually.
wait.
I will tell you exactly what I did the majority of this day, besides some.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay. Besides labor work and stuff like that, but twice I dressed up as a hamster and did a
Sexy.
lot of break dancing.
Hell, you're damn right you did.
I did.
He calls that Tuesday.
Oh, real quick, we got our shipment from Hers. Thank you, Hers.
We did.
Thank you.
Hers.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hers.
Big shout out to Mr.
Lacking of puff chips.
Yeah, we're not going to complain because we get a free crate of hers every single month.
Yeah,
like
I'm-
clockwork.
I'm gonna complain.
No.
You would.
I will say that I have enjoyed your variety of Old Bay flavored stuff. It's pretty good.
They did. They sent us a mess of Old Bay stuff. Like, the guys like
Make
they're
me
from
want some
Kentucky. They
fish.
like that shitty old seasoning they put on everything.
Seafood.
Oh, Bay's
But it's
good.
actually wonderful, man. Like they sent us this week. They sent us Old Bay popcorn, which whatever.
I thought it looked really good though.
What more lattice chips and puffs?
Those lattice
It
chips
was,
are amazing.
it was Old Bay popcorn. I mean, it's Old Bay popcorn. I mean, I don't know what
Like-
you say about it. It's
If it was just a case of jalapeno popper puffs and
Buffalo blue
bacon
cheese.
cheddar puffs and buffalo
oh
blue cheese puffs, like
And that Cajun kind.
yeah.
them
This,
Cajuns real good.
all right, Hers, if you're listening, first of all, I just want to say we love your product, and you know that by now because we don't shut the fuck up about it, and we're sweating like cheese dust out of our pores. But and don't take this the wrong way at all because we love getting our shipment and we love the variety that you send us.
Yum.
We just think that maybe they could be the crates could be steeped in a little more of a
puff.
cheese curl variety.
I like a little girth to my chips.
Yeah.
Just think, I'm
Like
sending this to a group of fat guys.
Are they crunchy or puffed? They're puffed. Wimp. Nerds. So we're
Give me-
throwing out some ideas for this week or whatever, and we do this. We're all 9-to-5ers, weekend warriors, and whatnot. So basically, I just send out a group email, and we all pass it around and throw around ideas. And we just really, there's nothing new as far as like nerd news going on. So we decided
E3's in 3 weeks. But
yeah,
so
and
nothing's
we'll do.
coming
Of
out
course,
for
we'll
3
do
weeks.
an E3 episode.
Oh, yeah.
Channing Tatum is going to be Gambit.
Who the fuck is that?
Magic Mike.
He's
Who the fuck is that?
I
He's
don't
this
know.
like really hot guy who he's like an actor or whatever. He does like a lot of. He's really hot.
Okay.
it absolutely
I'm sorry,
destroyed my want for Gambit in an X-Men movie, and I love Gambit.
But it's X-Men Apocalypse. I'm still giving it the benefit of the doubt.
Well, Bryan Singer is directing it. Cases pending.
Heath Ledger actually surprised some people with his role as the Joker, so I'll give this guy a
Oh,
chance.
that's
So,
right.
I don't know.
You
I
have
don't
to
know who
trust.
this guy is.
in-
I don't know who Channing Tatum is either.
You have
so.
to trust in the very man who wrote the script with zero budget for Usual Suspects. I mean, that was a wonderful film. And that's Bryan Singer. That was Bryan Singer's first. Like, he didn't have money. He didn't really have a budget to pay this ensemble because that movie had an ensemble of actors. I mean, he had Kevin Spacey and Kevin Pollak and not Antonio Banderas, but the guy from Snatch. Who am I talking
Benicio
about?
del Toro.
Benicio del Toro. So sorry, I got that confused. It just had a group of wonderful Sean Penn, wonderful actors, and they did it solely based on the script that Bryan Singer wrote. They were, they took low pay, if any pay, and Bryan Singer has done awesome stuff. He did X-Men 2. Now he's doing Days of Future Past and Apocalypse and so on and so forth. And if he can get out of this whole court thing, perhaps he will be able to throw us.
He's a handsome man. I wish I looked like that.
He is.
Yeah, by the
quite
way, Lee's
handsome.
holding up his phone, and it's got a picture of Chandler Potato on it.
Yep.
It's my background picture.
But I did notice that Lee's phone is a little bit smeared over Channing's
And Angie,
face.
I'd like
It
to
is
point
a
out
little
that
glazed.
I mentioned Chandler Potato, and Angie just sneezed in her pants.
It made a loud sound.
Yeah, good.
I thought someone was breaking down the door.
So anyway, this
Now I call this the sneezing elephant.
It's the sound of 1,000 tops exploding. Ugh. Okay.
I've never in my life heard a vagina go achoo.
You might need to go to the doctor and have that looked at. You might need to go to one of those obgins.
All right, enough about my girlfriend's vagina for the night. All right, fuckers, reel it
You
in.
started it.
Rein it in. So this week, there's nothing really going on. I mean, Xbox dropped its price $100. Wow!
Because they don't.
Congratulations,
have
we still can't afford one. So
yeah, but you don't get the Kinect, so
Yay.
EA.
Yay. There's no use for it.
Oh, okay, I'm cool with
They
that.
forced it on consumers, and they showed that they didn't want it. And the NPD came out this past week, and they were like, "Oh my God, we got to do something." All right, fine, fuck it.
Jordan is now walking out the door, and
he's going out front to play fucking
Xbox
Mighty
price
Morphin
drop.
Power Rangers
I'm gonna play Xbox price drop.
with no connect.
And we're going to talk shit about the mist.
Oh,
huh?
the
And
Mist
I'd
was a
just
good
like
film.
to say, fuck Major Nelson.
Fuck Major.
Larry Herb's whatever. Fuck yeah.
Who?
Major Nursing.
Nursing.
Major
Nursing,
Nel-
can't you?
Larry Herb, aka Major Nelson, Xbox's PR
okay.
type guy. He's a
All right, so this week we just decided that we don't really. It's slow news week, nothing really to throw out. So we decided to that we would share with you a little bit of nostalgia, some of the stories that
of
from
your.
back in the day, whether it be on the road with the band we were all part of, and in one way or another, and just other random
When we were
bullshit
young,
stories that when we were very
we
young,
were young once.
much thinner, much more attractive.
more
I
hair.
don't know about that.
Forever young.
Yeah, we didn't
I
have
wanna be
gray
forever
hairs.
young.
We didn't have Dicky Doo disease. We didn't have all
Ew.
these.
my titties weren't as big.
Yeah, Jordan's.
I
titties
still
weren't-
had them.
Mine
but
either.
They weren't as big.
So we
I'd
thought
like
we'd
to-
share these stories with you because these stories have always made us laugh, and we just sit around and get drunk and tell them over and over and over and over. So yeah, son, does anybody want to launch? Jordan, do you want to launch into?
No, I think Joey wanted to.
I wanted
Launch.
to just cue in on this. I'd say probably a solid 90% of what we could talk about could go back to mine Jeremy's days of working at the Lawrenceburg food court.
Oh yeah.
And off we go.
had freaking
Yeah.
shenanigans out
Off
the
we
yin
go.
yang there.
What a
That was
what a
what Joey was that
lovely-
senior year or like right after senior
That
year?
you were senior year. I think I was junior.
Yeah.
And
Because you're old.
yeah.
Yeah, because I always drove Eddie and Jeremy there after school almost every fucking day. We'd hang
Yeah,
out
just
there for
about
about
every
an
day.
hour. So
Yeah, we's young and not busted. Now we old and busted.
and I had a thing for that one girl who worked at Arby's.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember her name.
Shannon.
Although I do, but we're not
I
going
do.
to
We
say her
won't- we
name
won't
on the
say it.
show. So.
Not
Yeah, if you just rewind this, you can hear Joey say your name plain as day. Right there.
like sorry.
But one story I had from those days, and it's a story that, and I don't know if it's funny to anyone else, but it fucking tickled me to death. We work in Joey and I worked at Long John Silver's, and this was funny because Eddie and Jordan did not work anywhere in the food court, but they were up there every day.
Yeah, Eddie worked at McDonald's.
Eddie's sitting around eating snacks, and Jordan sitting in the corner eating pie and smoking cigarettes all night.
Because you
And
can
hush
smoke in the
puppies.
food court back
Yeah.
So let
then.
me paint this picture for you. It's a Friday night. Joey and I are working. Joey's a cook back there on the back line of Long John Silver's, and I'm working the drive-through, and I'm probably stoned because there is somebody who will remain nameless worked there with us. A super cool guy. I'm still friends with him to this day.
Yeah, and he had a tattoo that I thought said cheeseburger.
And of course, he and I were always taking the trash out back in air quotes, meaning we would just go all back and get high. and then come back in and just grub and eat and act retarded all night. So I'm sitting there, and we got cars backed all the way down the drive-through, and like I'm trying not to be a dick.
Hello.
Yeah, and I'm buzzing pretty hard, and like we're out of food. We're out of all the food because it's so busy. And I walk around to the big vats, the big fry cookers filled with like roiling hot grease, and I look, and there's like 5 or 6 chicken planks in there cooking, and I'm like, okay, good, because I just got an order for some chicken planks, and so I'll be able to put these in my order. So I hear the timer go off, and I'm like in my mind, like I'm taking orders on the headset, but in the background I hear the timer go off on the chicken. So I'm like, oh good, the chicken's up. I'll be able to go and fix these fucking orders and get them out the window. So I go over there, and Joey is just standing there like absently, just standing there. And I look into the chicken vat, and all the chicken's gone. I was like, okay, so he pulled it up. So I look into the place where we store the chicken under the heat lamps, and it's fucking a barren wasteland. Like it's completely empty. And I'm like, what in the fuck? Where is all the chicken? And I look over, and I swear to God,
Joey
to this
has
day,
chicken mantium claws.
Joey has got a chicken plank.
plankium.
He's got a chicken plank wedged in between each finger, and he's got like these chicken plank Wolverine claws, and he's just like biting the tips off of them and stacking with them. He's like going snicked with the fucking chicken planks, and I wanted to be so angry because I needed that fucking chicken to send in the orders out the drive-through window. And he's just sitting over there like, fucking haters gonna hate. He's just eating chicken, his chicken mantium claws. It was the funniest fucking shit that ever happened. And I laughed, like I was way laughing too hard to be upset. And I was just like, okay, that's funny, but we're really gonna need some more fucking chicken.
Well, when Joey
right
would work the register, like you'd order and he'd punch the little thing really hard.
It was like their advent of touchscreens.
That was like the very first touchscreen ever.
But he'd like essentially punch it with his finger and it'd shake, or
It would bend the screen back and make the screen change colors when I would hit the freaking monitor.
Jordan, you want to talk about the order that you came up and placed that night and the really good deal that you got on it? What was the
oh yeah. Yeah, we had friends working at your statute of limitation and all.
Yeah.
Been 15? Yeah, we're good. I was like, man, I want some hush puppies, some chicken, and so.
Well, I think
we
on
had
sex crimes, the statute of limitations like 5 years. So I think on
I'm sure hush puppies is
on
like
hush
3
puppies,
months.
It's like 3 months.
Okay, but like we had friends stationed at every restaurant, so we were good.
Yeah, it's like 4 restaurants at this
And,
joint.
I was like, oh, Jeremy was working one. I was like, man, can I get a? Jeremy's like, what do you want? I was like, I'll just take a 3-piece chicken meal with some fish, some hush puppies, Coke, some fries. So I'm really hungry. He goes, all right, that'll be 37 cents.
I like stacked him up with enough fucking food to feed the
And
Israeli army.
He's like, oh yeah, here's some of those pies you like.
Like 3 stacks of coconut pies and
Or that-
14 pounds of food.
For that day, me and Eddie were like, oh, we are so determined to lose weight. We're gonna fast. We're gonna diet like hell. And we were like, went on fasting for an hour. And Spanky's like, you want a pizza?
You're like, yes, we want a fucking pizza.
And then he like stacked it so high it wouldn't fit in the fucking oven, so he had to like scrape toppings
Like
off.
half the toppings wouldn't fit. Like it was trying to like go into
Definitely wasn't
to the
fully
oven,
cooked at
and
all.
like the overhang of the oven was just scraping toppings off onto that wheel.
And the oven went, what? Remix.
Like, oh, good.
God, he 50 Tyson the oven.
That back corner, like almost all of us smoked. So that back corner, people walk in and there's a cloud of fucking
You
fat.
couldn't see anybody if they were sitting in the back
Yeah.
corner. It was just cigarettes.
It was just a cloud of smoke back there with a bunch of fat, angry teenagers. And then if people we know would come in, they just walk in and go, like.
Yeah, give me a roast beef.
But I worked at Sonic during one summer. I hated that job. I worked the fountain and I
God.
brandished a knife on somebody.
I loved working at Sonic.
I was 16 and I was an angry little fuck.
I like that you brandished a knife.
I like that you didn't pull out a knife on someone.
He
He brandished it like it just came out of nowhere. Like,
I was already very temperamental in a bad mood. He's like, "Yeah, that shake sucked." I was like, "I hate you."
I'll cut you like,
Like
a
waving a
tater
knife at
tot.
Isn't there a story
Nope.
floating around about a large hush puppy?
Yeah.
By chance?
super puppy.
I've got this one.
Actually, I got a follow up, Joe. You go ahead.
Well, let's say one of the charming female individuals that we work with at another restaurant. decide. I don't necessarily think she ordered anything, but we made it anyway.
We knew what she was thinking.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we sculpted a fine piece of culinary art that all we can describe it as is the hush puppy Peter, and brandished with lettuce as pubes and tartar sauce as.
It was a big motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was big.
a big motherfucker.
And it's no way in hell that the thing could have fully cooked.
Like you
but-
cracked the little hush puppy dick open and it had like raw dough on the
Yeah.
inside of it.
And,
Deep fried bread.
Oh yeah.
and totally could have got fired because of this, and she even laughed about it, but yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Dude, I think the health department could have shut you down for that.
Joey, do you remember that night when we got really bored and we just grabbed random items, some that
Fried
weren't
'em?
even food, and dipped them in batter and fried them?
Yeah.
Like we took this guy that worked there, and we hated his guts. We fucking hated this guy. So he brought his homework to school to work after school. So we took his social studies book and threw it in the batter tray and fucking grabbed the tongs and deep fried his book in batter. We took a stapler and just battered it and threw it in there and fried it. And then we got so hard up for items that the tongs you used to dip in batter, I just said, fuck it, and threw the tongs in and deep fried the tongs dipped in batter.
And needless to say, cleaning this shit is not easy.
But it was worth it.
It was
I'm
totally
surprised, dude, that we kept jobs there as long as we did. I think we all got fired one way or another, but it wasn't for the inane shit we did. Like, I did so much shit that not only could have got me fired, it could have got me arrested. But they wound up firing me because I was like 5 minutes late 2 times. Like, what was?
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind the fact that I fucking sprayed someone's French fries with degreaser
Oh.
when they ordered French fries because they were an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
never mind the stuff that could have poisoned and killed his entire family.
Like the
You're 5 minutes late.
the 4-day-old refried beans from Taco John's that they just
Oh.
kept heating up
They
day
just
after
you
day.
add water. Yeah.
So for you folks that still eat at Taco John's, that is how they operate.
Yeah.
I don't care which one it is.
Leftover beans don't go in the trash. They
No,
just
they
add
don't.
water to them the next day and
Yep.
stir it up.
Dude, I'm still going to order Taco John's tomorrow.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
fucking
sorry,
care.
Lee. I know you're trying to deter people, but I'm still having a meat.
No,
potato
I'm
burrito.
fine. I want
Yeah.
some potato olays right
Yeah,
now.
damn right.
What a bucket of Chato Olays.
That was
And
wonderful.
some
That was
White
back in the
Castles.
day too. And what was crazy is that we're fucking old because we look back on those days, and all I can remember ever really doing back in those days, aside from these shenanigans, is bitching about how fucking hard life was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
I clearly
hard.
had not the slightest inkling or semblance of how difficult life could really be.
Speaking of the statute of limitations, you brought this up, and I really would like to talk about it. Is the promoting the Silent Station show at a
was
I
I
don't know high school in Franklin County?
was
Oh,
I in
yeah.
college when you guys did this?
I
Yeah,
believe
that
so.
was-
yeah.
You want me to paint the picture?
Yeah, please.
Let me paint the picture. Jason, man, our long lost brother, God rest his soul. He one night he swings by. We used to plan we used to throw these kind of like these promotional nights, we would call them, almost like guerrilla promoting style.
Now, for you youngsters out there, this is before the advent of the social medias.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
nothing.
There was no Twitter.
It was
There were message boards that you built on your own, and virtually no one ever used.
Yes.
So there was no
Thank
way.
you, Joey.
Joey.
Yeah, there was no. Thank you, Mr. Silent S at ProBoards.com. There was literally no social media, so you didn't have
None.
your friends sending you some shitty invite via Facebook that you're just going to click no to anyway.
5,000 times.
Yeah. So what we would do was, man, is we would. Jason had an SUV. I think it was like a Ford Explorer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And we would all load up in that motherfucker with like 2 12-packs of beer. And of course, we just go drink and drive around town and and just go hang up, flyers for the shows and shit. And it was so funny because we were all just broke. I mean, we were all broke musicians, and we would go. Eddie would usually draw up a flyer. I
On
think I drew up
Microsoft
1 or 2
Paint.
flyers. Eddie would draw up a flyer in MS Paint
Yes.
and print it out, and we'd all take like 1 copy of it, and then we'd all go pay for like 500 copies at IGA or Kroger or whatever it was at the time. We'd all load up in the truck with a bunch of beer. So fucking stupid. Like, by the way, like we're in the truck with like open alcohol containers in one hand and a stack of
But it
flyers
was
in the other.
some of the most fun nights ever.
It really
Indeed,
was,
yes.
man. And we would just load up and we would go just straight up like an army. Like it was so crazy. It's like watching ninjas work. Like we would
We
like
stapled flyers to park benches.
I stapled a flyer to a fucking stray dog one time.
We stapled one to Eddie.
You
Yeah.
did, and that fucking hurt.
Well, we would just run out of ideas like where to put a flyer. Oh, look, there's a stray dog. Oh, look, there's a stray Eddie. Just
Ow!
all right. So he picks us up one night, and it's so cool, man, because we would just have like a stack of like 5,000 flyers and beer and all kinds of shit crammed into this truck, a bunch of us. We would pull up into an area that we thought would be populated by what we presumed to be our demographic, and the truck would just pull up, and we would all just scatter like fucking
Cockroaches
ninjas.
when you turn the light
Yeah,
on.
just like cockroaches, man. We just staple these flyers up, and one night we decided we scoured Lawrenceburg. Like you couldn't go anywhere in Lawrenceburg and not see a flyer for the show. So we decided to hit Frankfurt, and we pulled into
There's an epiphany.
what's that, Jordan? What's that?
I don't know if this is the same, but didn't you guys sneak in one night and change the sign at the high school?
Yeah, I was gonna get
County
to
Oh,
that.
okay.
High
Was that
School,
the
yeah.
same round? Okay.
Yeah. So we pull into Western Hills, and we pull into Western Hills High School, man, and we stapled them up like outside of the window of every single classroom, like facing in. So if the teachers wanted to take the flyer down, they had to go outside and walk all the way around because we couldn't get into the school. We were like, man, we could do so much better if we could get into the school. So you see this picture of like me crouched down and like Lee's crouched down beside me and Spivey's standing on our shoulders trying to find a way up onto the roof to break into the skylight of the gymnasium so he can get actually inside the school. He gets in and lets us in, and we just run rampant in the school. Like we're going in and like slapping flyers up above the urinal, all up and down the hallway. And security was actually not security, but janitors were there, and they actually wound up running us out of Western Hills High School. At like
What are you doing?
Like 10 o'clock at night. Like we were just trying to learn. I mean,
Yeah.
this is America.
This is study hall.
Apparently, we didn't learn because we also had one of those nights at Franklin County High School
Oh yeah.
yes,
where
same thing.
we went underneath the big garage door at the gym.
Yeah.
We went inside, plastered inside.
Yeah.
Then we went outside and we're starting to do the classroom windows. And that's when the cop rolled up.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that.
And he started spotlighting. And,
Well, what's crazy
we're
is
not
that, like-
small guys.
Yeah, like I knew I was caught. There was no running. If I was going to have to run, there was no doubt. There was absolutely no fucking doubt that this tall, thin, really in shape cop was going to fucking catch me. So as soon as spotlight hits me, my hands go up, and I'm like, we're good. I'm fine. I'm not going to do anything. Just fucking take me. And I look over, and Spivey's ducked down behind a bush. Like Spivey's.
He
like,
had a
in
lot of
shape and-
experience.
Yeah, he had a lot of experience with that. He's like ducked down behind a bush, and the cop and I are standing there talking, and Spivey's 3 feet away, like head first, upside down in the bush, trying to hide. I was like, and I got to thinking, like, the cop winds up just letting us go and just tells us to leave or whatever. But I'm thinking, like, Spivey, what was the end game? Like, all three of us get arrested, and the truck gets impounded, and you've got to walk home from the other side of Frankfurt, like fucking 20 miles.
Dude, I hid behind an AC unit. I dove back there like someone just threw a fucking grenade.
Jason and I were just instantly like, "Oh, you got us! You caught the wet bandits! You caught the sticky bandits!"
I just stood there like, where am I?
So like we immediately, like Jason and I think we're probably the fattest in the band, so we just knew, like, as soon as the spotlight hits us, both our hands go up, and we're like, oh, we're not doing anything. You just okay. No guns. We don't have anything. Just be careful. Please don't fucking shoot us. We just
Don't tase me, bro.
Yeah, don't tase me, bro. We had a lot of. So one night, we decided.
I'm sorry, it's the wet bandits. I'm sorry. God damn it.
You like that callback?
Yes.
So one night is the night before the show. We didn't have anything to do. It was a Friday night show. It was on a Saturday night. Jason and I. Lee, were you there?
No.
Eddie,
That's
were you
why
there
we
for
had
the?
Spivey.
That's why we did have Spivey. I know it was me, Jason, and Spivey.
I was there.
Were you there for the sign changing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
Anderson-
lookout.
Okay, you were the fourth guy. Yeah.
I was looking.
So we had. Here comes the cop. So Anderson County High School has this big sign out in the front of the lawn, and again, statute of limitations is long past ran out on this. That used to say like, have a great summer, or whatever the case may be, whatever's going on at the school, like
And they had a lot
chorus
of-
event
And
this Saturday.
school
or
was
something.
still in.
Yeah,
school
and
was
they had a
still-
lot of stuff on that board too, so a lot of letters.
So here's the mistake that Anderson County High School made. This thing had a big plexiglass window on it that had a bolt on the bottom that had like a deadbolt
Yep.
and a latch. They didn't lock it. The lock was just hung off like open. So we were like fucking A. So we pulled up the thing and I held the plastic window up while Spivey was collecting letters. And Spivey, God bless him, has no idea how to spell. And I look over and like station is spelt like STASHUN, like station. Like, and not the brightest tool in the shed, not the brightest bulb in the knife drawer, but he was. So we actually changed it from like, chorus event this Saturday, soccer practice Thursday, to like silent station Saturday night, and we put the date or whatever and put it back down, and then we locked the deadbolt on it.
It was great.
And Eddie was all the way down at the end of the front lawn of the high school, like watching for cops, and he's trying to look. It's really weird to watch Eddie break the law because you can tell like he's not he's not very good at it.
Dude, I'm like 5 seconds from pissing my pants every
Like Eddie's standing down by the road, and in his head, he's praying that he looks like nonchalant, but he's like just scanning like fucking violently, like looking for a cop back and forth.
I look like R2D2.
It's like Johnny Five standing out there.
Don't disassemble.
So that was a really cool story. That was a lot of fun.
We got a lot of people for that show.
Yeah. That was, I think that turned out to be one of our biggest nights or whatever. And it's weird because it was cool. It was weird and cool because it's a small town with like 10,000 people. And we were able to actually pack. Our largest show was like 320 something people, into one building in Anderson County.
No show would go by without a table getting broken and Jeremy yelling at somebody.
Don't get on the fucking
It came out of our money.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is that all of us to do this show, all of us a piece would put in like $180, and usually we would make around $240 back after you take out building rental, PA rental,
Tables.
So like we would work hard to promote these shows and put them on. And on a really good fucking night with a really big crowd, we might make $60 back after, we get back what we put in.
Yeah.
$60 profit. And if somebody if somebody broke a table, we would make a $10 profit. So it was the difference between making a $10 profit and
Those
a $60
were some
profit.
expensive fucking $200 tables.
I think those tables were actually made out of California redwood.
then they finally got the plastic ones, which kind of
They gave.
alleviated.
But they just fell. Like if you put too much weight on them, they didn't snap. They would just fall. And you would stand them back up. But those old wood ones, man, there was people like just moshing and going ape shit and suplexing each other, and there was flare chops.
And that's when they still had that raised wood floor in the middle of the Legion. It's not there now, and they had the bars at the back.
Yeah.
And people would stand on those, and then inevitably what was coming.
Absolutely.
So, oh my god, dude! I mean, it looked like ECW. People were going ECW, holy shit, going through tables and stuff.
Yeah, and I had the misfortune of going through one of those tables as well.
Oh, the one with the soundboard on it.
Oh,
yes, God, I remember that.
Yeah, the one with the
Jason's
16
cousin.
channel like fucking $2,000 soundboard laying on.
Jason's cousin decided to mosh, and I guess I just look like an appeasing target. So he hits me, I fall.
Just like prison rules. They want to find the biggest dude there and take that motherfucker down.
I just bust through the table, crack my head on the ground. I'm like, oh boy, Jeremy's going to be after me tonight.
that wasn't your fault, though. You got shoved into it.
I hated to be a dick about it, man, but that was the difference in a decent payoff and making $10 profit. Like, it was just bullshit.
Yeah.
Because they would charge us. I don't like the very first time we went up there to book a show, they were used to like these fucking redneck, country bands coming in there and having a
silent
dance.
Station band.
Having a dance. And we went up there and booked it as a straight up hardcore band. Not just one hardcore band, but like booking in 3 other hardcore bands to play the show with us. And I think the first time we did it, they really were like, they had no fucking idea like what they were getting themselves into.
Zero.
Because after the first show, man, the guy, I can never remember his name, the guy that we used to book it from.
Mr. Thornberry.
Thornberry would just be like I remember the first thing he comes up to me, like after the show, the lights are on, we're cleaning up, and he walks up and goes, Jeremy. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, man, that was something. But I don't think they ever got mad because they made a killing on concessions.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think we put more asses in seats than any of the country bands that put in there. So I think they were like, look, you're gonna have to put up with like fucking head splitting music for 4.5 hours. But we made like $2,000 off the damn
We were
off concessions tonight, so we're good.
we were second place to bingo.
Yeah,
That
was bingo is the only thing in Lawrenceburg that could ever draw more people than our
Yep.
And weren't you allowed for the longest time to smoke in there too?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
You used to be
a
able to
lot of
smoke
our
in there.
teenage fans were like, "I'm angry at my mom. Get a cigarette," and they would sit there. That place was just like a fog.
Oh yeah.
It's where I met my high school sweetheart
Is it?
at one of them silent station shows
Yeah,
before I joined the band.
I have a story about your high school sweetheart from one of our shows.
Is that for later? Yeah.
Okay.
No, not that one.
I can't share that one.
I will say,
No,
though,
you can,
Oh, you don't give a
but
shit.
I don't think we're talking about the same person.
Who are you? Who are you talking about?
KC
In the
initials?
Sunshine Band?
Yeah,
Oh,
that one.
no.
SE.
yeah,
No, we're talking about two. Yeah,
we saw those. a few
there's a
times.
picture floating somewhere of that
There
one.
really is a still.
Oh yeah,
Scrambled eggs.
Look, I don't want to sound weird or nothing, but I kept that video for the longest time, and I don't know what. All I know is that Jason came over to my house, and I couldn't find that video anymore. So,
You wore it out.
and for the record, the video was of Lee's first wife showing her tits at a Silent Station concert, and it's on video. And I had the video from the show, just like I had every video from every show we ever did. And Jason comes over to my house, and I'm not saying he stole it or he borrowed it or whatever, but I'm saying the tape was there. Jason comes over to my house, and then I can't find the tape anymore. So that was the sequence of events that went down.
he could have just came to my house and took her.
Oh.
That'd have been fine.
He wouldn't have been the first.
Burn.
No.
Ooh, apply water to burn.
All right.
I don't have many
I
silent
know.
station memories because I was just carrying water around and carrying equipment. So.
Yeah. Eddie, tell us the toilet story in the back of the car.
Oh God. Okay. Well, we lost two things that day. I was during my one semester at Western, and I'm coming home. It's the Halloween show, and on my way home, I have the toilet because I had a 1987 two-tone Buick Century tank,
You're damn right you did.
and in that trunk I could fit a full-size toilet in it, and we're talking porcelain and everything, and that's what we used to take to the shows, and we would always put ice and waters in it, even though it would like leak out of the bottom and like drench the
Yeah, it
stage.
didn't matter.
But no, it was awesome. And
Electrocution is fun.
yes, and I was at a stoplight just listening to my CD player, like yeah, and I look at my rearview mirror, and here comes this Toyota Tacoma. He ain't stopping, and I'm like, oh no!
Slow motion.
And I go to get out of his way, and he just cracks me at the back right-hand side. My freaking trunk just looks like a Weird Al accordion. And it's all smashed in. It sends me into oncoming traffic. I had another car. It was a professor at the university. And
Nice.
he got pissed at me. He was like, you better hope you don't have my class. And I was like, what did I do? He was pissed because he didn't have insurance. He got arrested on the
He's a
spot.
fucking
he did.
professor.
He got arrested on the
Oh.
spot, and he was like, and as they're having him in handcuffs and shoving his ass into the police car, he's
He
like,
threatened you.
yes, he was like, you better hope you don't have my class. If you have my class, you're in for it. And I'm like, are you hearing this? And, but no, and I got the car off to the side, popped the trunk.
What's left of it?
Well, yeah, and what we could open it, we can only open it halfway. The toilet was in pieces. It was
Oh.
all
Dun dun dun.
It was in pieces, and I was more pissed about the toilet.
Where did that toilet come from, Eddie? I never understood where the toilet
It
came
was
from.
our freaking mascot.
Yeah, but it came from.
Yeah, but it didn't appear. Like it has origins.
No, actually, it came from.
He brandished it.
Yeah.
Did you brandish the toilet? No.
No, it was actually there was a person that I knew that actually was taking it out and putting it at the end of their house at the
You
side of the
dumpster
road.
dove for an old toilet.
No, it was right there, and I was like, and it said "free to a good home." And I kid you not, it was
Did it have like a sign that said, "Please make sure you feed and water it twice a day. It eats your poop."
They drew eyeballs on it. It looked like the chair from Pee Wee Herman's
Oh,
Playhouse.
Jerry.
Hey, Barry. But no, and I was like, it's a sign. And so I stopped.
Yeah, I should have this toilet.
I stopped and I popped my trunk and I threw it in there.
You're damn right you did.
And I took it home and I cleaned it and scrubbed it, sanitized it.
You took a dirty toilet.
It looked clean, but I wanted to make sure that
there's a lot of backpedaling going on in this story. I feel there's something you're not sharing.
He brought it actually to one of my birthday parties, and it was his chair for the duration of the party.
Yeah.
Eddie was fucking king back there. Everybody loved him.
That's fabulous.
Like in a good way.
What happened?
No, but just like you get on that toilet and everybody's like,
Yeah, because
They did.
no one else. I mean, we would go to shows in Louisville.
even though we were making the comment the other night looking at pictures, you looked like a fucking douchebag.
You look like a fucking hobo.
You look at old pictures.
I want to get back to that look sometimes. What's
What's sad is, like,
I like
you
that.
you never were, but you've always been a sweetheart. But
always.
you looked like a scumbag.
I know, and I liked that look. It was so much fun.
Yeah, the bitches loved it because they were like, he's a bad boy, and then until he opened his mouth, and they were like, no.
and yeah, it was funny because it's
Like, here's a guy with like a shitty, weird beard, and he's got like the long hair that he's got braided all weird and like different, and his pants are ripped, and he just looks like a complete like dirt bag, and all the girls are like, boom, 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 boom. Their hearts are like pounded, and they walk up to him and they're like, hi, and Eddie goes, hey, how are you guys doing? And they're like,
thanks
oh,
for coming
nothing.
to the show. Oh my god, I'm so glad you're here.
Here's the moral of the story about Silent Station as a whole. Everything got broken. Toilets,
Hearts.
box fans,
Hearts.
My heart got broken several times. I wasn't in the fucking
tables, and dreams.
Dreams.
He did, man, but I won't lie.
cell
like,
phones.
the women were wild for Eddie back in the day.
Absolutely.
And
Man. I
here's-
don't
He was a good-
understand.
Great front man.
It was one of the best front men, and I don't mean like in local bands. I mean Eddie. Like I don't do
Didn't
this.
you guys
a lot,
go to
so-
that U show and then the
I don't.
mic to
I don't do this a lot,
Yes.
Eddie. Because actually, I
Awesome.
don't. I don't ever say anything nice about you. As a matter of fact, I go out of my way to be extra mean to you, and I have been doing this for 15, 16 years.
and I love it.
And but I'll tell you the truth, Eddie. You were one of the best front men that I think I've ever seen in my life.
I
Now,
appreciate
enough of
it.
this fucking stupid, sappy shit. All right, what were you saying about the
I was
show?
saying, didn't you guys go to the U show and Bert held the mic to Eddie and he screamed and Bert was like, "Oh,
Yeah, Bert
yeah,
was like,
cool.
I have
did
a
the
story
Obama
about
face. He
the
was like-
used.
You're on your way."
And my underwear exploded when that happened too. I went.
tell us the you story, Eddie, or Lee.
It's like me when I like holler at my kids. I go through the gamut, and then I'm like, "Get over here,
You're like, Jack, no, Lee, Mom,
Zelda.
Paul." Who the fuck is Paul?
Rutabaga.
Okay.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Yay! All right. So Jeremy calls me up and says, "Me and Eddie are going to a concert. Headliners. It's the used." I was
who
like,
all was on the bill? Do you remember all four of the bands?
"There was 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah.
God,
We got to see Jared Leto before
He
this
mattered.
handsome motherfucker that's
Right
on,
after Fight Club.
Yeah.
He was still handsome though.
Christensen,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
the used, and
Coheed and Cambria.
Yep.
A
Coheed.
very new Coheed
Coheed
Cambria. on
was
the set.
there.
Remember, because he had the bag on his
Yeah.
head and he ripped it open and his hair bloomed like a flower.
And he went.
yeah, that was awkward.
Yeah.
We were there. You asked me to go, and I was like, "Who's the used?" My balls hadn't dropped in or whatever, and so I was like, "Sure." On the drive there, Jeremy informs me that when a specific song comes on, he's going to punch me in the head.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, and that
The
was
statement was like, dude, if they play this fucking song tonight, I'm punching Lee in the head. Like, it wasn't like a Lee, I like to punch people in the head to this song, so if it comes on,
No,
I'm gonna
it
punch
was.
you in the head. It was just like,
It's going to happen.
it was born out of excitement.
right. It came true. And the thing is on the way down there, you let me listen to the song, and I listened to it, weeks prior. But as soon as that first fucking note hit, I went, "Oh." And I couldn't even get the word "fuck" out of my mouth, and I was being just drilled in the head.
It's weird to see a 300+ pound man jumping up and down like a schoolgirl while punching his friend in the head to a song.
And he's holding a Rolling Rock in one hand and punching me with the other, and it was the most amazing show. And to this day, is one of the top 3 shows that I've ever been to.
It was a wonderful show, and we were right up on the stage, hands
Yeah,
rested on the
he
stage.
didn't puke in the bucket though.
Yeah.
Which was, kind of his staple for other shows.
In
But
the beginning, it was, yeah. Like, he puked every single show almost, yeah.
And then right after that was the whole he got with Ozzy's daughter, and it was kind of an odd scenario. Or no, it was actually during that time he had just broken up with her at that show.
Yeah, dude. So he was like out there like talking to the crowd because he was down as hell.
And then the next week was going to be Andrew WK, because I see they had the caution tape up, and signs were plastered everywhere.
Do you remember the part that I thought was the funniest about that show is that, like, I guess he had just broken up with Ozzy's daughter, so they were wanting to play like all their soft stuff, and he was trying to like give these heartfelt speeches, and there's these two or three fat drunk idiots over on the right side of the stage, via me, you, and Eddie, and we're just sitting there going, "Shut up and play this song!" Like we wanted to hear the harder hitting stuff. And he's sitting there trying to give this like heartfelt speech, and we're over here being obnoxious, yelling at him. This is the lead singer of the Used, Burt McCracken.
Play Maybe Memories, I'll suck your cock.
And he's sitting there like, yeah, the heart this, and I feel this, and he just goes, "Will you shut up? I'm trying to be serious."
I remember that.
We were like, "Bird,
We love you."
He fucking yelled at us because we were being obnoxious at his show. Like, I'm sorry, I want you to stop talking so I can hear your music. I'm sorry I annoyed you with my fandom.
I'm sorry I paid money to hear you play music.
I bought your album, you turd.
Not talking about your feels the whole damn time.
Can I do a little follow-up? I remember there was a U show up at Bogart's.
Yeah.
And this was, I think, Jeremy Jordan.
No, I never went to go see the Used.
Okay, was it you, Lee?
I've been to two with you guys.
There was this one that we went to up at Bogart's, and it was the Used.
It was me and another person that will remain nameless. I know exactly who it was.
And Coheed, and I think Start. The Start.
Yeah, the Start.
And which was Stun. Sorry, Stun.
Yeah, because I kept making fun of the dude who played the snare drum.
Dude, I liked
leaned
it.
into the other way.
Yeah, bug. Anyways, and
Blind
I remember
addiction.
we parked in this parking lot, and it was Jeremy's vehicle. What?
Oh, I remember that fucking night. That was a fucked up night.
And I remember we parked in this parking lot, and right underneath this light post, we're like, "Oh, this is great!" And so we just have a small walk over to Bogart's, and
we were just like super stoked that we had a really good parking spot for Bogart's, which never fucking happens if you've ever been to Bogart's in Cincinnati.
Exactly, and I remember that we walked out, had a great show. It was a fucking awesome show. It was amazing. I mean, I remember in that show too, Bert was like hanging from the rafters.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And then they had this big mesh where like all bands got in there and was playing Maybe Memories.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was awesome. And so we go out, we're like, yeah, we're all stoked, man. It was a great show. Where's the car? Where's Jeremy's car?
Motherfucker got towed in Cincinnati.
Oh, God.
So we're stuck in the shitty, like, Vine Street section of Cincinnati. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and my truck's been towed.
And thank God I had a friend that I worked with that was at that show, and I called her up. And I'm like, man, we just got towed. Need your help? And she drove us to the towing place, and they're like, hey, it's going to be $275 to get your car out. And so I'm like, and I'm the only one that actually had like a debit card.
Or money.
Yeah, that was like,
fuck it, let's just be honest.
I forgot my wallet at home. Oh, that fucking excuse.
You, I bought the tickets.
You did, and I appreciate it. I bought the tow. Well, we got home because
yeah, one of us won out on that deal. Yeah. I'm not sure what it was.
And we finally found an ATM, and I'm like, $300. It was like, here you go. And Jerry was like, thanks, jerkwad.
Thanks, faggot.
The only time I went to Bogart's when we saw Twisted in that one part of the show, I got shoved into your armpit for almost You're going, yeah! And I was like, yeah. I was like, I love you, Jeremy. I don't want my fucking face in your armpit.
This was fun.
And they didn't throw water or anything on us. I was expecting like some Faygo or something. I was like, oh no, this is... like we're dying.
Really hot and dehydrated.
So Jordan, you had a story you were going to tell.
What?
About Ozfest?
I was just going to talk about our Ozfest when we were talking about how we couldn't move and about got killed at the Shitty Kitty concert.
God, I was
Shitty Kitty. That's a
Shitty
wonderful
Kitty.
name.
That is apt.
Yes, it's very apt.
And I remember
Absolutely.
too, I had front row right there because there were some really good bands, but I had worked my way front row up on the rail.
Why?
And because
there were some good bands.
This was the second stage, so you had
like
some really
Pitch Shifter was on there.
I got poked in the eye by the lead singer.
Yep.
by accident. It really hurt.
Yeah.
And
Primer was on the second stage.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was in the heyday of like back when metal was okay to. It was okay.
Yep.
To
it was
listen
great.
to.
Taproot was on the second
Static
stage.
X, like all those good bands.
Static X was actually main stage.
Right on.
But I remember I got front row, and Kitty comes on, and it's just a fucking avalanche of these old
Horny teenagers.
no old
horny,
guys
like,
that probably had like
much
2
older.
kids there.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
like, "Hey, Kitty!" And so they start going, and then they start playing that song Charlotte, which sucks so bad. It's not a heavy song.
Everything
either.
they do
Sucks.
It's just like,
bad.
dude.
But they were girls and they were quote unquote hardcore.
Yeah.
So everybody
And-
was like, "Oh, boner, jerk off, spray."
And so, in that order,
Yes.
rest
Yeah.
repeat. And,
Sometimes spray, then boner. Depends.
and
you don't. If you
And I wanted a
spray
cigarette. And
before you boner, you're
and
gonna
I
have a
tried
bad
to get a
time.
cigarette off that guy and knock the beer out of his hand, and I was like, "Oh man, no, I'm
Hope he
gonna get
doesn't
killed."
fight me.
and people started fucking moshing during Charlotte. And you heard the song earlier.
I've
earlier?
heard the song years ago,
Yeah,
but
but
I
it's
thought
not
they were
heavy.
all dead. I didn't know they were still like. I thought for sure someone had killed them for being awful by now.
And I literally almost suffocated in that mosh pit. And I'm like, this is not even a hard song. And I go from the front to the very back, almost dying. I almost started crying because I was so overwhelmed and I couldn't breathe. It was so
They tried
hot.
to stay together. I was like, "Why is that?"
Yeah.
Because I got pushed forward.
And I finally just said, fuck it. I'm going to go over to the main stage and sit for a bit.
Yeah, and then get hit with mud because all those assholes are
Hey,
throwing
we'll have to get
mud.
Lee to stop having some snacks because we'll need him in here for this next segment. But we'll circle the table broadside. It'll be okay.
Okay.
Okay. But I thought we were talking about earlier how we all met. I thought that'd be pretty cool to kind of
Oh,
run
yeah.
through. You start with Jordan. Go ahead. How you met everyone else.
Okay.
We'll do like our own version of How I Met Your Mother.
Mine's
It'll call
pretty-
How I Met My Dumpy Friend.
Okay. I've known Eddie since I was like 4.
Hi.
Yeah.
His grandmother lived across the street, so that's how we met.
Yeah.
Met Joey through Eddie when I was in
7th grade.
7th grade. Okay. Lee through Timothy because he lived nearby.
Yeah.
That's the reason
We were
why.
friendly at first. Then there was a rough patch.
We'll touch more on that. in a minute.
Yeah, and I met first met Jeremy at Walmart. He doesn't remember, but I do. It was Walmart. We were probably like 7 or 8 in the lobby, the foyer area. Foyer at Walmart. Jesus.
Foyer.
Is-
The French
Anyway.
pronunciation.
the foyer.
Warrior.
When there was a WrestleMania arcade game and we both were up there talking about wrestling. And here
Okay,
we are.
like
back.
I may not remember that, but there's no fucking way in hell that I can deny that I ever stood anywhere and talked about a wrestling game with anybody. So I
That's
cannot
what
deny
that I
that.
remember because
Yeah.
you were little and you had a mullet.
It has. No, I didn't.
You did.
I did. Real
Hey,
hard.
man.
Not only did I have
Hell,
a mullet,
when I was
but
8,
it was like a badass mullet.
When I
It
was
was
like-
a hard mullet.
when I was like 7 or 8, I had a rat tail, which might as well have been a mullet. That was the thing back then. It
Oh
was
yeah, I
okay.
had the hardest. God, I had a hardcore mullet.
A lot of people had mullets. It was the thing.
See, the first memory I have of us together was actually going to that in-store signing and me being in the back seat with you,
In that hot ass
and
car.
kissing you right on your bald, sweaty head,
Yep.
and making you really uncomfortable.
It's wasn't hard to do then. It's not hard to do now.
Because whenever you get uncomfortable, it's great because you get really tight-lipped and your eyes get wide and you look out of the corner of your eyes, but you get this like scared look
I just
on your
don't think
face
he
as
knew
well.
how to take.
I
me
do
at
get
that
scared.
You're like,
He didn't know how to take me at that point. He's like this large guy. Just
I'm tense when
He's
I'm
gonna
pushed me on the head.
I'm tense when I'm relaxed, so you can imagine when I actually get stressed out.
What about you, Eddie? Where'd you meet everybody? How'd you meet
Well,
everybody?
met Jordan across the street. Good friends. Play a lot of video games. I met Lee going over to Timothy's, and Lee talked about his balls a lot during that time.
Were they
Like,
real big at that point, Lee? He says, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, my balls are huge. Look at this skin.
He was
like,
proud of like he was very proud of his big balls.
yeah. And
But
so
I gotta say, I mean, if I had them, if you got them, flaunt them.
but he was just like, look at their skin. He would just pull it up over his shorts. It was like, ah!
I know, it was
All right, Lee,
impressive.
let's be friends.
That's impressive,
I
sir.
like your balls.
I
Good
like
play.
the cut of your jib.
Yeah. And I remember Joey, we were in PE class and we had these little hockey sticks.
Yeah.
I remember those. I
and-
hit somebody in the back with one of those.
And well, I did. And like I remember with Joey, I was short and Joey was a lot taller. I'd be like, "Hey, Joey!" I kept hitting him with this hockey stick, and I got behind him. Next thing I know, Joey grabs me by my head, and throws me. I was behind him.
When was this? How old were you?
It was like
We were in third grade.
So Joey was still like 6'5".
Oh, so you were destructive back then too, huh?
well, when there's a little like Weasley little shit hit you with hockey sticks, and I was like, "Hey Joey," and Joey's like, "Stop it."
Joey was like,
Yeah.
And I'm behind him hitting it. He said, I know this guy. He just grabs me by my head, throws me over his shoulder, and slams my head into the floor. And I'm like, ow! And the
you look up and you
it.
see Joey flexing over top of
Yeah,
you.
Joey's like, "Told you to stop it."
Well, you were fucking hitting him with a stick.
I know, but we became great friends right
Yeah.
after that, though.
Oh, that's ironic.
Because there was a trip to the science center, and we hung out the whole time.
Yeah, we found out we both liked Mega Man, and it was all
That was
uphill
it,
from
man.
there.
Bonded
Yep.
over Mega Man.
And,
Good old video games.
and Jeremy, I'm really sorry. I really don't remember how we met. It's
Probably
like a
art
Okay,
class.
well, fuck you.
No, I'm
And
being serious.
we
but
met
no.
in art class.
Was that when we met? Was it
Yeah, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Now I totally remember. And
Because
you were
I was
like,
trying to carve a dick into the desk with a paperclip.
yeah, and I thought you were gonna get in trouble. No, I do. And you know what? I have
Even
to
back
say-
then, Eddie was the voice of reason. He's like, no, listen, Jeremy, I don't mean to
and you're like,
criticize.
"Shut up."
I don't want to criticize what you're doing, and that's a wonderful looking dick. But
And Jeremy,
if you don't stop with that paperclip carving, you're probably going to get in trouble. I just want to throw that out.
and
there.
Jeremy's like, you know what? Fuck you. But you know, I have to say, can I just say this really fast? Jeremy, I had never laughed so hard in my life than the experiences of having you in art class. I
we
kid
had a
you
lot
not,
of fun back
that
then.
back
Mhm.
table. Like, I always looked forward to art because I was like, good to see Jeremy. What hijinks is he going to get into today?
Yeah.
Well,
was always
I
pulling
got a
some shit.
couple of them.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy.
So, well, you got all the art class hijinks?
Yeah, we can get
Oh,
into
boy.
that later if you want.
Well, Big Joe here. Met everybody pretty much different times, but we all were reunited, as everybody says, in the art room.
And it feels so good.
Yeah.
Reunited.
And it feels so good. The first individual that I met was, I believe it was Eddie. Yeah, just what he was talking about. I
Little shit.
did I don't know. I guess it was like a reverse suplex or whatever. And
Hulk Hogan, you can't do that.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You
Just
stole
happened.
my fucking
I'm sorry.
line.
You stole my Richard Dreyfuss before.
Fair
so-
enough.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
And I actually took a bump.
but I believe I met Mr. Leroy here before everybody.
You tell your side, I'll tell mine.
Okay.
wow.
His is going to be
Or
much
you
more.
are still bitter, and that's not even a joke. Like, you are literally still
No,
bitter about that.
It's just
Why
fucking
won't you make eye
hilarious.
contact with Joey while he was talking?
Anyway, me being a little chunky fat fuck back in the day, and it carried over to today still.
Like he ever stopped.
Was out on recess doing whatever, walking around. Lee and this little greaser gang was
A
like
roving gang of,
Yeah.
of Lee Whites.
two
They
more
snapping their
individuals,
fingers?
probably.
I didn't know you were a pack leader, Lee.
I was.
I mean, yeah, followers. It's like Jim Jones without the Kool-Aid.
But
Flavor Aid.
Yeah.
Big nuts.
Flavor Aid.
but several other guys who I claim to be friends now.
He's like a big nutted Jim Jones without the Flavor Aid.
Lord
Or the
have mercy.
list.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. Okay, go
It's
ahead,
all
buddy.
right. Him and this little pack rats decided to show up, and they surrounded me. Of course, like Jeremy said, I think I was about 6 foot back then,
You were tall as shit.
and
Still are.
they just decided, I guess, hey, this guy's fat. We need to beat his ass. And,
I'd like to know why anyone would ever fuck with you, Joey. If you didn't open your mouth and be as like nice and as personal as you are, you're an intimidating dude. I mean, you're fucking built like a damn refrigerator. You're like 6'5", and just a big dude. Like I said, if you don't smile or open your mouth, you're like the most intimidating looking dude.
And I
ever.
think you had a goatee back then too.
I may have. But anyway, they all start throwing their little jabs and whatnot, and I'm like, no, we're not having this today. And I grab this stick that's on the ground and just start flogging them with it. And Lee,
Irony.
yeah,
yeah.
make good
You would have
friends.
learned your lesson, Joe.
make good friends through beating ass. But anyway, so Lee grabs the stick and I jerk it out of his hands, and I guess the sight of blood everything was over. Everybody fled like it was mentioned earlier.
That's
roaches.
sad that your gang couldn't stay there and get your back.
Bitches.
Yeah, and
You're not invited to my party.
yeah. But that's it with him. His telling will be much more epic. Jeremy, I didn't meet Jeremy for a long time, but I did meet his mullet because I do believe it is a symbiote. I would see him in the hall. I would see. It's a symbiote mullet. Because I'd be walking behind him and it would look at me going, "Don't mess with me, bitch."
It was controlling me.
Don't mess with us.
Yeah, do not mess with us.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
At lunch, it would take the form of a fork.
That is-
He'd eat with it.
What
That
it
is
go?
fucking brilliant.
We are
Yeah.
Jeremy.
We are Jeremy. But Jordan, as mentioned, I met through Eddie. And my and Jordan's battle in 7th grade was to see who would rent Mega Man 7 before the other person did.
That came a little bit later.
That was later, but
yeah, that came.
we had met through that in school, and it was just hysterical because once we were in high school, all of us were back together again in art class.
Yeah.
And it's just been a upward spiral since then. We've become closer. We did lose a good friend, but through this, we've become a stronger pack, and we are the Burg Nerds.
Fuck yeah, man. Well said.
Hey.
What about you, Lee? Lee, you look like you're dying to tell that story. No, the real story, how it really went down.
I'm going to go counterclockwise around the table and leave that for last. Jeremy, of course, his mom started dating and then eventually married Bill, who is
right.
really good friends with my dad. They played music together.
So they've been friends for like 30 years or something.
Yeah.
35 years.
So, only natural that,
We're going on that.
Yeah,
you all come and hung out at our house and vice versa. I mean, apartments and houses and everything else.
Sure.
I think my first big memory with Jeremy was we were at the apartment complex that you all lived at.
Yeah,
and you was out back smoking a cigarette. you were like 10, 11. I don't fucking know. And I was 7, 8 years old. And he goes, "You want to smoke?" And I was like, And you was like, "Yeah, pussy." And so I ran off and told Mom. And,
They fucking told on me. That's how I met Lee. He almost got me grounded.
Sabrina was just like, what? Jordan and Eddie, this is kind of a combo. Tim Thornberry, mutual friend of ours. I would stay the night.
He's Dr. Thornberry now.
Yeah, very true. And he's moving closer to home.
Yes.
Welcome back, buddy.
Yay!
It was like we would take turns staying the night. Very rarely were we there at the same time. And we were cordial at the beginning. And I don't know what happened.
Probably something stupid.
Yeah.
As it always is.
What it boiled down to was there was a yearbook. And I don't even know who the fuck it was. Whether it was mine, Tim's.
It was yours. It was yours.
Okay. And it just kind of stayed at Tim's. And it became like a passing of notes. And I remember leaving a note for both Eddie and Jordan, calling them butt faces and, you smell like duty and, typical 11, 12-year-old shit. And we had a good laugh a few weeks later and, it just grew from there. And,
Right on.
We many nights playing Sega and PlayStations and Silent Hill and, all right. As for this guy,
Joey.
okay, I remember it as a very cool spring day.
Let me paint a picture for you.
You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
My classroom was in the trailer out back, if that's fitting. Well, I had greaser friends, so why not, be in a
That's
classroom?
fucking weird because wasn't the
fucking
trailers
trailer.
out back like either end of the spectrum, like the super bright,
No.
like the advanced class and the mentally challenged kids both had a trailer that was divided by one wall.
Well, I don't know. My class was kind of all of those. I was.
Did everybody have helmets?
No.
Okay.
I was smart back then. I don't know what happened.
Right. Yeah.
And so I had to help. I had to help other students read and write and such.
Yeah.
Well, we go out to the playground one day, and what I recall
Is
Me
Shrek.
and my innocent friends were looking at this big son of a bitch.
No, like I was just kicking around mulch, like Lou, I got episodes, Lou, you want some too? And along comes Joey, who like reaches down into the depths of the earth. Like he just looked at me and was like, "I don't like you," and so I was like, "Well, I don't like you." And he reaches down to the depths of the earth and brings out this redwood tree.
Not a switch or anything.
And he
like
starts.
the whole tree.
He beats me with it. Like he hit me hard. And as you said, once first blood was drawn, everybody
Shit got
scattered.
real.
Everybody was like, "Mm-mm."
It's all fun and games until someone starts bleeding.
Everybody was a mad black woman.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And after that, it was probably a couple of years. But his cousin was a mutual friend, and I think it just kind of grew from there.
Lee also drew a very nice representation of this in art class, and I wish we still had it today.
I do too.
I wish I still had anything left over from back in those.
I had my art stolen out of my car, my
Is-
AP art portfolio.
Now let me
still
tell
have
you
some
another
mine.
side of the story. Now, how I met Lee was I was standing back behind our old apartment complex. I mean mansion. We were standing out behind our old mansion. Now, granted, there was 12 families that lived there, but it was still a mansion.
It was
And we were
large.
cordoned off, but still. And I was just sitting back there minding my own business, smoking a cigarette, wearing my symbiote mullet, and all of a sudden this pussy comes up, and I thought I would be nice. I'm like, this is a guy that looks like he doesn't have any friends. So I was like,
He was right.
I was
right.
like, hey pal, why don't you come over here and have a cigarette with me? Take the edge off. Like, at 10 years old, what edge was I taking off? Like my dad yelled, I gotta have a cigarette, And all I remember was kindly and politely offering him one of my cigarettes that at 10 years old are really hard to come by. And he runs off and tells my mom. Can you believe that? That's the worst thing
What
ever.
a fucking pussy.
Joey, I think, I actually met in art class, and I was sitting at a table with two other guys. Their names, I'll just say their first names, Sean and Chris. And I kept, like, you walked into class, Joey, one day, and I was like, what's that dude's name? And Sean just goes, yeah, that's Boulder. And I was like, what? What's his name? And he goes, it's Boulder. And I was like, Boulder? What's his first name? He was like, no, it's just Boulder. His name's Boulder. And I was like, and I just accepted it as fact. So from then on, I was like, hey, that's Boulder. If you ever see this guy, that's Boulder. He's Boulder.
I had no idea. I honestly had no clue.
Yeah, I remembered it when we were all flashing back to this. I remembered the whole story. But actually, when I actually got to know you is when we all sat back at the back table in the art class or whatever. That's how I met. That's how I met Eddie.
Hi.
Yeah, and I met Eddie at the back table in the art class where all the AP kids sit. Well, we all had the back table, and then Jordan I met. Well, he says the first time, and I don't doubt it at all because it makes perfect sense. Mullet, wrestling video game, it makes perfect sense. I can't deny that. There's no way that didn't happen.
It's true.
But the first time I recall meeting Jordan was through Jason, right?
No, we met each other in art class.
Did we before then?
Yes, before Jason,
Yeah.
before the Jason connection.
You said you had art class stories. There's only a million, so
that may have to wait.
That's an episode.
Except that
itself.
we were not the pick your nose and eat it table.
Yeah.
That poor fucking.
we
he was a
definitely
dick
weren't that.
though.
Yeah, fuck that kid.
Remember the time? I remember that one day in class. I thought, in all honesty, I thought you were going to get expelled just because how much you were getting yelled at. But when that kid crapped his pants in art class, dude, you went on every day for like 2 months. Every day you'd be like, "Hey, shitty." you would just yell it out. The teacher would be like, "Jerry, you stop it." You'd be like, "Okay, shitty." And you just never stopped. And I remember I couldn't breathe. Like every day I would go through a time in art class where I couldn't breathe, and you would just make fun, and he would just look at you and just hold his head down. And oh my God,
Poopy Palmerton.
Yes! Poopy Palmerton. God.
That's weird because he's a guy that exists, and we're talking about how he shit his pants in high school. Well, fuck it, whatever. It's over. I didn't said it, so.
It was amazing.
We had some times back then, man.
It would have been fine if you just said he's a guy that exists and left it at
left it at that. But no, I not only said his name once, but I reiterated it.
That's all right. I was like 25 and shit my pants.
I shit my pants 2 days ago.
But
it happens.
But he did it in art class, and like it's like time stopped.
Oh, in high school,
Yeah.
you'll never live that down
it's like
until
time
you
to
leave high school.
You can see the look of terror in his face.
And then Jeremy in his head goes,
Yeah.
it's like the Terminator.
I was just trying to pull focus from my mullet. Like, if people are laughing at this guy
We
for
are
shitting in his
amused.
drawers, no one's looking at my symbiote mullet.
You know, in all honesty, I would kind of think of your mullet as in Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock's tentacles
Yeah.
that take over.
Like
and
it controls. Like it
you're
controls me.
telling me to say things.
Guys, I think we're going to do that.
Yeah, we're running along.
We're gonna-
How long we running?
We are busting the shit out of this episode. It's going to do it for us. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Eddie.
Big Joe.
I'm Lee.
And Hulk Hogan, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Fuck you, brother.
Show me your genitals. Your genitals. What? Show me your genitals. Genitalia. Show me your genitals. Your genitals. What? Show me your genitals. Genitalia. You're talking to me about stuff. Why? I'd rather see your titties. Now you're talking about other stuff. Why? I'd much rather see your titties. I can't have sex with your personality, and I can't put my penis in your college degree, and I can't shove my fist in your childhood dreams, so why you sharing all this information with me? It's not sexist cause I'm saying it in a song.